This week's edition of Church Media Design TV is sponsored by Print Management Solutions. Welcome to another edition of Church Media Design TV, tips, tricks, and how-to for you, the Church Media Designer. I'm your host, Brad Zimmerman, and I am joined every week by my favorite bobbleheaded friends. You got it right. We got our favorite new friends, Jamie and Adam from the Mythbusters. We got Dwight Schrute from The Office. We got Little Whitey, who's the miniature version of me, and of course, Jesus Christ, the Son of the Lord Most High. Well, this week we got a whole ton of resources for you and some interesting news again from Adobe. They got a lot of different things going on these days. So if my favorite bobbleheaded friends are ready, let's get into it. Well, this week's news is all about Adobe Air and, well, what Adobe Air can do for you. Adobe Air is their desktop platform for basically, it's a placeholder for Flex and Flash, and they all kind of come together, but it's a way to build programs that you can install and run on desktop computers on Mac and PC and Linux, and now with Air 2.5, you can also do that on mobile devices like Android and the BlackBerry. So they're pushing Air across multiple devices. Also, they're making a in-market app marketplace, just like everybody else in the world who's making a place to go find all of your apps in one place and make it easier, and developers can submit their Adobe Air apps. I use TweetDeck, which is an Adobe Air app. I use that every day, and it's an awesome app. But a new app that they just came out with is called Roam. And as you can see here, Project Roam is a simple, powerful, all-in-one content creation and publishing for virtually everyone. Now, it's really interesting because this does a lot of different stuff. You can create everything from print documents to animations and graphic files inside this program, and you can output them to PDFs and Flash Swifts and JPEGs and templates that you can share with other people, and you can share it on Facebook and Adobe Acrobat and Twitter and all these different places, and it runs on all of your different devices, and it's totally free right now, and it's a really interesting idea, and I think it's a really powerful program. I actually downloaded it and checked it out, and I mean, it's like InDesign for the masses. You can do really simple but quality print layout inside this program and print it or send it to a PDF, and you can do some really nice stuff inside here, and it's totally free, runs on the Air platform, so it'll run on any device, and it's very much worth looking at. They also have an educational version of it, so you should check that one out as well. So check out Project Roam. Well, let's reach into the stockpile and grab some great resources for you and your church. And the first one is for you music creators out there. Now, music is one of my biggest passions. I love playing, and I love dabbling with new and interesting things. And I found this one especially interesting. This is from ISO50, who is a designer / musician, Scott Hansen. And you can see here, he's talking about the new Moog iPhone app. Now, Moog is a keyboard. It's classic sound that's been around for, it seems like, ever, but it's something that musicians love, and they just came out with an iPhone app that you can do a lot of interesting stuff with, and so this is really cool, and I encourage you guys to check it out, and you can find this over at, I don't even know what website this is, but anyway, so you can check that one out. That's pretty cool. The next one is from Grayscale Gorilla, and Nick is the Grayscale Gorilla, and he does 5-second projects, which are basically, you have 5 seconds to make a video about some random thing, and he just throws it out there and chooses a winner. Well, he did a layer by layer layer breakdown of one of the recent winners of the 5-second project and showed the importance of compositing, and did a layer by layer breakdown in After Effects and shows the before and after. So here's the original 3D render, and here's the final composite, and showed what you can do with compositing and how important it is. So let's just check out this 5-second project. Well, the next one has nothing to do with compositing, but it does have to do with video, and it's all about how to stream online. Now, we've talked about streaming on here before, but Church Crunch has done a couple different articles, and I found this one especially interesting. It's how to build a live stream for online church on the cheap, and how to do this for $20 a month, including iOS, Android, and BlackBerry devices. And this uses a new service from Amazon. There's a lot of technical steps, but Alex goes through all of these steps and shows you how to get it all done along the way and all the different things you need to do, and kind of shows you the easiest way to do it. So it's definitely worth a read if you're wanting to do online streaming, but you don't want to get stuck with ad-supported stuff through Livestream or Ustream or Justin TV or any of those places. So make sure to check that one out. The last one, of course, is some free stuff. It's from Nope.com, and these are 100 useful free textures, because who can never get enough textures? So there's grunge style textures in here, and a whole ton of different craziness in here. Apparently, wood textures. So there's a bunch of different styles in here, and there's 100 different ones that Nope's found. So check that out, as well as streaming for church online. We got the Moog iPhone app, and there's one more that I'm missing, the importance of compositing from Grayscale Gorilla. So make sure to check all of those out. Well, before we move on, let's say thank you to our sponsor of Print Management Solutions. You can find all the solutions to your print needs at printmanagementsolutions.biz. Check out the website, and you're going to find customer testimonials. We can recommend them any chance we get, and find out how you're going to save time and improve your productivity, as well as you can find out what's the best solution for your print needs. Also on the website, you're going to find out about their summer or their end of year promotions, how you can either get a free color printer or you can get 3 cents a color page, which is a smoking good deal. So make sure to check all of that out on the website. Head over to the Get in Touch, the contact page, fill out your information, and make sure to put Church Media Design in the promo code to let them know you found out through us. So make sure to check out printmanagementsolutions.biz. Well, today I'm sitting at the office, and I'm joined by Ben Arment, who is from a lot of different things, and I had the chance to be at the Story Conference this year and help out there and be a part of that experience. Many of you have heard of the Catalyst Conference. A lot of you follow his blog, and so we're going to sit down and talk about the multitude of things he's involved in, what's going on today, and where he's been in the past, and kind of what's formed that journey that he's been a part of. So Ben, thanks for joining us.
Hey, it's good to be here. I feel like I'm on Regis and Kelly or something.
No, not at all. Regis and Kelly have a way better set than I have. So, so you told me you're chilling out at a Starbucks right now, right?
Yeah, this is one of Virginia Beach's finer establishments. It's got sort of a deck out here with a fire pit and some sofas. It's actually a pretty nice Starbucks. So.
Nice. Well, Ben, can you kind of give us a background of where you've been? I first heard about you from Catalyst, but I know your journey probably didn't start there. How did you get involved in the church, and kind of what's your background?
Yeah, well, I grew up the son of a pastor. My dad was one, and but the problem was he never let me do anything in ministry. So I had to enter basically the college years and then graduate working in advertising as a writer and a producer before my dad would give me my first shot at leading the youth group. And so I took a stab at it, and instead of just doing the conventional, meet the kids at the church, I rented out this old theater in downtown Tip City, Ohio, and brought in bands, and my sister was a video editor at the time and created these really crazy videos. And we just saw God start to really move. It filled the theater to capacity, and that was sort of my first clue that God wanted me to do something besides write ads for billboards and TV commercials. So
Nice. That's very interesting. I'm actually a youth leader right now as well. Me and my wife lead our middle school deal on top of all the other stuff that I do. So
Oh,
I
great.
totally can relate to you in that.
But
So
I was going to say I should finish the story.
Yeah, go for it.
That's not it. Basically, I went to Liberty University for seminary and then drove on weekends to a church in Virginia Beach. It was about a 4-hour drive each way, and really cut my teeth in ministry there and got married. And a few years later, my wife and I moved to Northern Virginia near Washington, D.C. to start a church. And we did that for 8 years. And then just sort of recreationally one day, I decided I was going to do a conference in Reston, Virginia. So I called it the Whiteboard Sessions and invited some pastor friends of mine who had written books. And just sort of a grassroots movement took place. About 1,000 people came to it. It was a remarkable success. And that was another one of those defining moments where I stepped down from my pastoral position and just to see what God would do with me next. And that's when Catalyst Conference called and said, hey, we're trying to start a West Coast event. Would you come and lead that? And it was an opportunity of a lifetime. So I did that for a year.
Okay. So that you got your kind of a bigger push even. So Whiteboard was the start, and then Catalyst, and then you stepped back from Catalyst after that first West Coast event. And I know I was following your blog at that time, and for you it was I'm sure a huge thing because you're kind of stepping away from secure money and the security of a consistent paycheck and just following where God wanted you to be, right?
Yeah, it was definitely a leap off of a cliff in terms of what I thought was security, and certainly, was leaving an opportunity that was pretty remarkable. Catalyst was a great experience. I loved every minute of it. But at the end of the day, my wife was having her third baby, and I had kept her away from her family all those years of church planting. And so she asked me if I would consider figuring out how we could live in Virginia Beach where her family lives. And so we did it. I read a book called The 4-Hour Work Week, which talks about looking for revenue streams that don't require you to sit in a cubicle or in an office. And it made all the difference for me. So, I do story, I do Dreamier, and then some consulting for some national organizations. But it's been good.
So you started Story this past, 2 years ago now. So there's been 2 different Story events. The first one was, or they both been in Chicago. And the first one was kind of this, it was something different, something new. It felt like there was this cloud of like, what is this actually going to be? And I wasn't actually able to be a part of that first conference. Kind of tell us what launched that idea. I know it was a big passion of yours.
Yeah, I have always been drawn to very theatrical type events. And big fan of movie posters and just sort of the enigma of an experience. And so for the first year, we really played up the enigma of Story as being this very artistic experience that wasn't just conference. There was a lot of experience to it as well. And the trouble is that not pastoring a church or not leading a congregation of people or artists, I really had to sort of find some people who would help do favors for me to pull the event off. And I thought it came off really well. We had about, I think, 1,700 people in attendance, which is really great. But I also noticed that our audience wasn't made of the creative types that I was hoping to really pour into. It was a much broader audience. And so for year 2, we started to go down the same path of inviting pastors to speak about creativity, but a lot of them said no. About 8 of them said no. So we were forced to ask practitioners of creativity and practitioners of the arts to come in and talk about their craft. And it really was sort of a God thing. It made all the difference in just exciting that base of people we really wanted to reach, which is the creative class in ministry. So I think for year 2, you saw something that was much more true to the DNA of Story. And we're going to keep going down that path. There's still more room for us to get in our sweet spot. So sorry for the motorcycles.
That's okay. Yeah, and I mean, I was at Story, and actually, I was wanting to go, and the budget wasn't there. And my brother-in-law called me up and said, "Hey, would you want to work the resource booth with me? And you can go for free and be a part of it." And so I got a chance to hang out with him, and I worked the table, and I was able to be at the conference, and it was so cool because, like you said, I think it was a God thing that those people were were there speaking, because some of those talks and especially hearing points of view on creativity and what you can do in the church from people who aren't Christians or even part of the church makes your mind open up to all these new possibilities. One person said, well, why don't you just take a weekend off? And I was just like, man, that is such an amazing statement to say. Why not just take a weekend off? Like, if that's what your church needs, if that's what needs to happen, maybe you should just do that. And so I thought the conference and the event was great, and you guys did such creative things with, for one, just having street musicians playing in the lobby and having all sort of surprise and delight was one of your teams that was just giving out random stuff. You had Mexican Coke and all these different things that were just fun. But then on top of it, one thing that you guys got a lot of press for was the holograms from Clark. And what was that experience like for you, bringing in this whole new medium into the conference?
Well, Clark, they go by Clark now. It was called Clark Pro Media when I started talking to them. They are exceptional at doing installation of AV for churches. So it really isn't in their their core competencies to be doing events, setting up portable sort of AV systems for events. But they had this hologram technology that was developed by a company called Musion in London, and the technology so far has been used for like the Madonna appearance at the MTV Music Awards several years ago, and also the Harry Potter Wizarding World down in Universal Studios Orlando uses it for that installation. But this was a chance for them to show that it could be used in the sort of the worship space as well. So when I approached them and asked them if they would install it, it came just at the right time of when they wanted to release it and when they wanted to show the world. And they also very much want to connect and pour into the creative class in ministry. So I think all worlds just sort of collided. It was perfect sort of lunar eclipse of circumstances, and they did a phenomenal job. They busted their tail and they spent a lot of money for that technology to be shown in the church space. I'll be honest with you, when I saw it being set up the night before the event, I was really worried about how it was going to come off. Even in the rehearsals, it was looking very two-dimensional, and the thing that really made the difference was when they backlit sort of the back curtain area, and it gave that sort of depth of field perspective to the audience. And we tried really hard in the seating to have everybody sit toward the center to get the best vantage point, and it turned out everybody just sat where they wanted to sit, which was no problem.
Right.
But I hope people were blown away. I think I saw someone tweeted that they felt like they were watching television in color for the first time. So I thought that was a pretty great compliment of the experience.
Yeah, and one interesting thing was I don't know if you orchestrated this or what, but Engadget actually showed up to the event to cover the holograms, and I had seen this technology before at Clark's offices, and I knew what was going on, but I was very curious what they had to say about it after this event, and seeing it set up. I hadn't seen it in a live situation, so for me it was interesting. It was very interesting reading that article, and I'll throw a link below to that article that you guys can check out. And it was just, to me, again, it was this eye-opening experience of hearing an opinion of somebody who doesn't believe in Jesus, who doesn't understand what we do in the church, but to get their opinion and take on what that technology was. What did you think about that article?
Yeah, they came in with I was very thrilled by it, but they came in with a lot of biases against the church, which is understandable, and it was interesting to me that they interpreted the opening sort of element that we had as being a depiction of hell, which it clearly wasn't meant to be that. But
no.
but I think the article overall, like if you read the spirit of it, the guy was really impressed by the technology and I think by how we used it. So, I think he was afraid we were going to do crazy things with it, and we didn't. We very much used an understated presentation with it. We knew that we could take it overboard and probably overplay it, and so we went in the other direction and tried to downplay all the elements we used on it. So
yep.
But
yeah, there's no flying crosses with doves shooting out or anything awesome, globe spinning and all of that kind of stuff. It stayed away from all those cheesy things. Well, Ben, I know one other big project that you're a part of, and something we're actually doing in our church is coaching and coaching people to release themselves and to do what they feel called to do. And so you started this thing called Dreamier, and I think that's been going on this is the second year coming up, if I'm correct. Can you kind of tell us what Dreamier is and kind of the outcome of that?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a couple of factors that have led to Dreamier existing. One of those is I read Bruce Wilkinson's book, The Dream Giver, years ago. And the whole premise of that book is that every single person has a dream in their life. And a lot of times it's covered up or disguised by fear or intimidation or worry or self-doubt or a sense of inadequacy. And so people just need encouraged to know that, hey, God made you a level 10 in some area of your life, and He intended for you to have a great dream for your life. And the way that we sort of uproot that and discover what it is we focus on what we're frustrated by. What are the things we wish we could change? And really focus on seeing that as a gift from God, that frustration to shape a dream or to shape a vision. And then the other thing was people kept asking me, who was critical in mentoring you or shaping your life? And honestly, I can look back at my life and I can't identify anybody who ever really poured into me. I can't think of anyone who invested any significant time in my life. So for me, the response to that is I don't want other people to have to face that as well. I want people to be encouraged, coached, and mentored. And so Dreamier is a way that I feel like I can do that for other people in a way that's sustainable, in a way that I can make it a part of my livelihood. And the great thing about it is Dreamier's price point is I hope lower than a lot of coaching networks out there, but the goal of it too is that we teach skills on how to create revenue streams and to create income for your dream, so that basically the investment pays for itself. So that's the people who are a part of it. The 24 people who went through it in 2010, we're here in month 11. We're finishing up in December. They've done unbelievable things through this year. I marvel at what God has done through them. So it's something that works, and it's something that has impacted a lot of people's lives. So I'm really excited about it.
So you are now taking applications for another class, and have you expanded, I think? Did you expand to more people for this second year?
What we're going to do is it's going to be the same number, 24 people, but what we're doing is all of the things we learned that we should have done, we're going to do in 2011. So something that we found that was invaluable to everybody who's a part of it is conversations like this that are video chats. We need to facilitate more of those. So that the people who are in the Dreamier class can have relationships with each other. I think that's what they want. But secondly, we're also doing a Dreamier weekend in Nashville, January 21 to 23, and all this information is at Dreamier.net. But it'll help people who can't go through the year-long process to come together in one city and get the conference version of this program. So I'm super, super excited about it.
Well, Ben, I got to cut you off because I'm seeing my camera's running out of film, so I'm going to have to say thank you so much for tuning in. Real quickly, do you want to let us know where people can find out more about Dreamier and all the other things that you're a part of?
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity. It's incredible to be on here and to talk with your folks. Ben Arment is my blog. That has gateways to storychicago.com and dreamier.net, and that's probably it. So...
Okay, well, thanks a ton for being here, Ben. And again, make sure to check out his Twitter feed and his website and all of those different things. Well, this week's inspiration comes to us from our friends over in the BBC in England. These are 2 new ads that they've put out. Now, the BBC does really cool stuff like Planet Earth and Life, in which us Americans steal and change the voiceover artists to people like Oprah instead of their cool British guy accents, which I don't totally understand because I like the British guy accents. But anyway, I digress. These are 2 really creative ads that I wanted to show you guys and check out. So check these out. And again, you can find all of this information and even more inspiration at the website CMD.tv or CMD.tv/inspiration. And you can find the show notes at CMD.tv/117. So check out these BBC ads.
Unique concerts at Radio 2's Electric Proms.
We'd like very much
with Neil Diamond playing classic tracks like you've never heard before. Elton John on stage with Leon Russell, Plan B and Rumour. And Robert Plant with the Band of Joy and the London Oriana Choir. The Electric Proms starts October 28th. Listen on Radio 2, watch on BBC 2, or go online.
Well, this week's freebie is another game for you, because I got a lot of games, and like I said, I like to put graphics with the games. So this one's called Poop Deck. Yes, you get to let your students say poop and deck at the same time. Now, Poop Deck is a game you split up your room into 3 sections. You have Poop Deck, Mid Deck, and High Deck. And basically it's a running game, and you yell for them to go to a certain deck, and the last person to make it to that deck is out. So I would yell Mid Deck, and everybody runs to the middle, and then I would yell High Deck, and then Poop Deck, and the last person to Poop Deck is out. And you go so on and so forth until no one's standing, and like they're standing in Poop Deck, and you yell Poop Deck, and the people who go past the line, they're out as well. So super simple game, really easy to play in any space, and now you have a graphic to go along with it, as well as you can take this graphic and change it out and use it for a series or whatever you want. So there's an editable Photoshop file that comes with it, as well as widescreen and full screen stills that you can use inside any presentation software. So head over to the website, go to CMD.tv /poop deck, and you can download that today. Well, thanks for tuning in to another edition of Church Media Design TV. If you have any questions or comments, or you want to give some inspiration or something like that, or you got some news that you think is important or a resource you want to share, send those to me, Brad at ChurchMediaDesign.tv, as well as you can find me at twitter.com/CMDTV, facebook.com/CMDTV, and of course, vimeo.com/CMDTV to share video inspiration and all that sort of stuff. So, as for me and my favorite bobbleheaded friends, we're saying hasta luego.